I'm gonna say something that I wish was really emphasized to me as a kid. Life is hard, man. It's something we might hear people say and even tell us directly while we're growing up. But oftentimes we don't really grasp that concept until we get punched in the stomach with that reality. Life can be soul-crushing and completely overwhelming. It's also a blessing and an invaluable gift. To me, Vinland Saga is about growth. It's about learning and second chances. That despite your past, you can always make the choice to be a better person. Every day is an opportunity to grow. As human beings, it's natural to focus on our own failures and shortcomings. Too many times we let those things dictate what we think of ourselves. And because of it, we end up stuck in a self-fulfilling prophecy. An old teacher of mine told me, "As you think, so shall you be." If you think of yourself as a failure, you've already resigned yourself to stay in that dark place. Only when you start to think you can become something greater is when you actually begin to improve. Seeing Thorfinn lose his way and be devoid of life and purpose is more relatable than most, including myself, would like to admit. This depiction of depression is probably one of the most realistic I've seen in fiction. In Western culture and media today, we often see the idea of depression kind of romanticized in a way. It's presented as some sort of edgy character trait rather than a mental illness. The truth is, real depression feels pathetic. It's not necessarily some overwhelming sadness, but more of an aching void that feels like it'll never be filled. The hardest part of overcoming this mental state is that you don't necessarily want to escape. You become sort of indifferent to the suffering. Or even worse, the feeling starts to become comfortable as you let everything in your life kind of slip away. At one point, Thorfinn says,
死にたくないから生きてるんですか。生きてると何かいいことありますか。俺はなかったよ。今まで生きてきていいこと一つもなかったよ。
Regardless of whether this statement is true or not, the sentiment is one that many people feel when going through depression. It feels like everything is pointless, thus leading to an overall feeling of indifference towards everything. It's in this state where we start to think more about our past failings, and we begin to spiral, and we end up stuck in this place of self-loathing and pity. You begin to think that you aren't enough, and that you're not worthy of the things that you desire. All of your demons, past and present, haunt you all the time, and it becomes unbearably heavy. This is what makes Thorfinn's eventual growth so compelling. This scene cemented this show as one of the best for me. Askeladd's phrasing here is absolutely perfect here in my opinion. In order to reach the peace that you desire, the work has to be done to get there. All of the weight that you carry isn't necessarily going to get lighter, so you need to become stronger. For us to think that our problems will just disappear one day is naive and will only lead to further disappointment. If we don't want to fall to that dark, horrible place, we have to continue to climb out of it. because no one is going to carry you out but yourself. It's okay to cry for a bit, but we can't cry and pity ourselves all the time and expect things to magically get better. We have to climb. The thing is, it's a constant battle. You have to consciously make the choice to be better every day. It isn't going to get easier just because you made progress yesterday. You have to wake up and make the decision to be even better today, then rinse and repeat. We see this after Thorfinn makes a vow against violence originally, then commits an act of violence not too long after. After breaking his vow, he wonders if it's even possible to keep it in the world he lives in. He modifies his vow from absolutely no violence to only using it as a last resort when absolutely necessary. And he shows his resolve when he sustains 100 punches from Drought. Most people think to make immediate changes in their life, but in most cases, change is gradual. You take the steps little by little, and eventually you look up and see just how far you've come. That realistic approach is something I appreciate Vinland Saga for taking the time to explore. If I'm being honest, I believe that this series is the most important piece of media I've ever consumed. It teaches to love instead of hate, to forgive instead of fight. It shows the strength that lies in purpose, and purpose is the heart of ambition.
これから覚えていけばいい。一つ一つ。空っぽなら何でも入るじゃろう。生まれ変わるつもりがあるなら、むしろ空っぽの方がいい。
For the ones that feel lost, it teaches to work diligently toward finding your purpose. When you're at zero, just know that now you are limitless potential. I'm not saying it'll be easy, because of course it isn't. But there's beauty in the struggle. And I think what Vinland Saga is trying to say is that whatever is on the other side of the struggle might just be worth fighting for.